Hi, and welcome back to another Grace Kids Online. We're so excited that you've joined us today. We have an amazing service planned, but before we get started, I want to tell you about our one thought. Today's one thought is, God wants us to use it, not bury it. So let's jump into our service.
Red leather, yellow leather. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck?
Hey, can you bring that camera in a little closer? Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, we're live.
We're live? Hello, and welcome to Story of the Week. I am your host, Damien.
And I am red leather. I mean yellow. Woodchuck. Oh no.
We are here with a big story this week, and no, it doesn't have anything to do with leather or woodchucks. But before we jump into that, there is a small scoop that you need to know about. Caleb, what's the scoop?
Well, Damien, an ice cream truck overturned on the westbound parkway. City officials had to reroute out the whole area because of the rocky road. It was everywhere.
Wow, that's not the treat you're hoping for on your way home. That was a good one. Anyways, on to the big scoop.
It was a huge scoop.
Now, this story is a game changer, and we not only have the facts, but we have actual footage of the incident in question.
So, we can take you straight into the mix. The parable of the talents.
Our story opens with a man who's about to go away on business.
We could use a trip away as well, huh?
We could. But before he leaves, he gives his money away to 3 of his servants.
Sounds like they got a raise. We sure could use a raise, right?
That's what I'm saying.
No raise, back to the story.
Okay. Anyways, to the first servant, he gave 5 talents.
Thank you, master. And to the second servant, he gave 2 talents. Thank you, master.
And to the third, he gave 1 talent. Thanks, I guess.
This is where things get interesting.
Right, but before we get into that, do you see yourself more as the servant with 5 talents or with 2 talents?
I think I could see myself as either, Caleb.
Sounds good. Wait, so which one does that make me?
Back to the story.
I am not the 1 talent.
And speaking of the 1 talent, he took the money that was given to him and he buried it. Because he was afraid of the master.
That is not the best way to make money, and I know that because I am not the 1 talent servant.
Okay, you can be the one with 2 talents, okay? How about that?
How about the one with 5 talents?
Now, let's not get carried away, Caleb. Speaking of the servant who had earned 5 talents, he invested it and earned 5 more.
Same with the servant with 2. They invested it and earned 2 more talents.
Sweet! Now, what do you expect we can get from this story?
I have no idea. I don't have 5 talents, so I wouldn't know.
Caleb, come on. I didn't mean it. You're a 5 talent servant for sure.
You think so?
I know. Remember in middle school when I gave you my lunch money to invest and you came back with $20? You took 2 $5 bills and doubled it.
I remember that, but I don't remember it exactly like that.
What do you mean?
Well, see, you did give me your lunch money, but you gave me 2 20s, not 2 5s.
What?
I thought you were paying for my lunch, so I gave you half of it back.
But how do you spend $20 on lunch? What are you getting?
I got a shake. Or 2 or 3.
That's crazy. You owe me $20 and some ice cream.
We can just drive down to the westbound parkway and get some free ice cream there. You like Rocky Road, right?
If you think I'm gonna eat ice cream off the road, Caleb, you have another thing coming.
See, it's not that bad.
You know, you're right. It isn't half bad.
What happened?
This rocky road has a little bit too much road in it.
Well, you should have got strawberry.
Back to the story.
Right, so the master soon returned, and he said to the servants, oh no.
Oh no.
Brain freeze.
Well, all right then. The master had returned home and he wanted to settle the account of money with each of them. Now, the servant who had earned 5 talents had doubled that and earned 5 more, and he presented 10 total to the master.
I'm back.
Better?
Yep. No. That bite was way too big.
Okay. Well, the servant who had returned with 2 talents had given the master 2 more, with a total of 4 talents.
And I'm back. Anyways, the master said, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a little, so I will set you over a lot."
But to the 3rd servant who had came back and gave their master the 1 talent and nothing more because they had buried it, the master then told his servant, "You wicked and lazy servant, you could have invested it with the bankers and I would have received what was mine with interest. Instead, you hid it and did nothing with it. Take your talent and give it to the one with 10.
Because if we're faithful with a little, God will trust us with much.
But if you aren't being faithful with what you have and you hide it away, you aren't being a faithful servant."
Hopefully we all learned our lesson today.
Don't eat ice cream off the ground?
No. God wants us to use it, not bury it.
Right. We should use our gifts, resources, and life. We shouldn't hide any of it in fear. Have you learned your lesson on brain freezes yet?
What brain freeze?
Here we go again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Somebody help me.
That's our story for today. Remember, use what God gave you. Don't bury it. I'm Damien.
And I'm Caleb. Oh, man.
And we're signing off. See you next time on Story of the Week.
Cut. Great job, everyone.
My brain.
Hey kids, welcome back to another week of the stories of Jesus, where we've been able to dive into the different parables that Jesus used to speak to his followers. Today, we're diving into the story of the parable of the talents. And what you just saw, you see that this master had these talents that he wanted to give to his servants to look after. And so to one, he gave 5 talents, to the other, he gave 2, and to the last, he gave 1. And so what happened? We see that the guy who had been given 5 talents didn't just keep that. He went out and he invested it and he got 5 more back. So he had 10 talents total. That's pretty crazy. And then the next guy who had 2 talents, he didn't just keep it. He went out, he invested it, and he got 2 more back. He doubled it. He went from 2 to 4 talents. And then we see the other guy who was given 1 talent. He didn't do what the other 2 guys did. He didn't go out, he didn't invest. Instead, he went and he hid it. He buried his talent. And so, we see that the master returns home. He's ready to settle the accounts with his servants. He's like, "All right, what you got for me?" And we see the guy who had 5 talents originally. He said, "Master, I doubled it. Here's 10 talents. The master was so excited. He said, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And then the next guy who had been given 2 talents, he presented the master with 4. And the master again is so excited. "Well done, good and faithful servant." And then we see the last guy. He goes, "Well, I didn't really know what to do with it, so here is your 1 talent back." What do you think the master said? Do you think the master was proud of that servant? He wasn't. He says, "You wicked and lazy servant." He called him wicked and lazy. Why? Because he didn't do anything with what he had been given. He hid it. He buried it. You know what we can learn from that today? Is that God wants us to use what we have, not bury it. God wants us to use the talent, the time, the resources, our lives. He wants us to use those things for his kingdom, not hide what we have. All of us, we have been given so many amazing talents. There are some things that you're really good at, and God wants you to be able to use those things for him. Some of us with our time, we can use our time for him. We can help bring people to Jesus. We can use what we've been given to glorify God. And when we do that, when we use the gifts and the talents and the time and the resources that we have, God can look at us and say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." But when we don't, and God sees us and he sees that as lazy, we don't want to be lazy. And you know what the Bible also says is that whenever we are faithful with little, when we take what God's given us, even the little bit, and we're faithful with it to do things with it, God says that He will give us more. If you're faithful with little, you will be faithful with much. So today, that's the challenge. Whatever you've been given by God, whatever it is that you have that is a gift from God, whether it be the things that you're good at, your talents, your time, your resources, your entire life, use it and be a faithful servant. Because when you're faithful with little, you're going to be faithful with much.
Wow, that was a great service. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, remember our one thought. God wants us to use it, not bury it. Well, be sure to join us next week. Bye.